Hello, everyone, from snowy Washington State. I want to wish you and your family the best for the new year. It's always good at this time of the year to look back over the past year and look ahead to the new year. And that is exactly what I'm going to be doing in today's video. Let's start by taking a look at what were my most viewed videos in 2021 here on my YouTube channel. The video at number 1 had 10.8 million views in 2021, which is pretty amazing since my entire channel only had 31 million views in 2021. So this one video was responsible for over a third of the total number of views I got during the entire year. Care to guess what that video was? I'll give you a little hint. It's a video that I created back in June of 2017 when we were living in California, and in the 4.5 years since I made this video, it had a total of 42 million views, 10.8 million of those just in the last year. Have you guessed which video it is yet? It's the video I call Thomas and Friends Arrive in California. It was my way of announcing to the world back in 2017 that I had bought the G-scale version of Thomas the Tank Engine from trainworld.com, my favorite place to buy model trains. It's a fun video, and I definitely intended it for a young audience, so the whole tone of it is geared to kids. And I even threw in a classic dad joke. You know, the really bad kind of jokes your dad used to tell you when you were 5 years old.
She must not have thought it through. Of course he likes to eat. He's a choo-choo train.
It felt a little weird to me as a 60-year-old guy to even be buying Thomas the Tank Engine for my model train collection. And to be honest, I had never even watched the Thomas series on TV, not even with my kids when they were growing up. But one of my YouTube viewers left a comment on one of my videos suggesting that I should get Thomas in G-scale and make a video about him. Now, my initial reaction was, no, not at my age. I'm not interested in doing that. But then I got thinking about it from a business perspective. Figured if I spent a couple of $100 to add Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle to my collection, could I maybe make more in YouTube advertising revenue than the cost of buying the trains? It's the classic business question of, will there be a return on the investment? Now, it did not seem like a sure bet to me back in 2017, but 42 million views later, and after making $30,000 in advertising revenue from just this one video, yeah, that was a good business decision. And that's why this senior citizen makes videos with Thomas and Friends model trains. Number 2 on the list of my most viewed YouTube videos in 2021 is the only video in the top 5 that does not involve model trains. And it's a really unusual video, completely different from any of my other hit videos. When I first posted this video to YouTube back in November of 2016, I expected that the total number of views this video might ever get would be maybe 1,000 or so. I never expected that it would get millions of views. Now, I only posted the video to YouTube to illustrate a story that I was writing for my website. And if somebody had told me back when I first posted this video that, in fact, it would go on to get over 6 million views, I just never would have believed that because there's really nothing special about this video. It's a video that simply captures an announcement that an airplane pilot made to all of us passengers on an American Airlines jet that had just taken off from San Juan, Puerto Rico. My wife and I were flying home from a Caribbean cruise, and as the plane was climbing up through some cirrus clouds, which I should point out are not the type of clouds involved in thunderstorms, there was a very loud noise like an explosion and a very bright flash of light from outside. I thought there had been some kind of explosion, some kind of major equipment failure with the airplane, like an engine blowing up or something. Now, I didn't have my camera going at the time that it happened, so I actually didn't get any video of the event itself. But immediately after that bright flash and the loud bang that I thought was an explosion, I started my camera recording just in time to catch the captain's announcement to let us know what had just happened. Here it is in its entirety.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Cohn. I understand some of you may have been startled by that banging noise that just occurred. What happened is some static electricity built up on the airplane and it discharged as we were climbing through the clouds. That happens occasionally when you're in cirrus clouds like this. The airplane generates some static electricity as it goes through the clouds and then it has to discharge. But the plane's operating normally, so there's no reason for alarm.
It really doesn't seem like the kind of video that would get 6 million views, does it? And 4.5 million of those views were in 2021, thank you. For some reason, the YouTube algorithm decided to start recommending the video. It might have something to do with how short the video is, just 30 seconds. Or maybe the algorithm picked up on the fact that a lot of people were leaving comments on YouTube about the video, things like funny things the captain should have said to mess with the passengers. So the video about the pilot's announcement was my second most watched video of 2021, but it was actually a bigger moneymaker than the #1 video, the Thomas & Friends video, as far as ad revenue. The Thomas & Friends video got more than twice as many views during the year, but the pilot's announcement video generated more ad revenue for me. Interesting, isn't it? At number 3 on the list of my most watched videos in 2021 is a model train video that has been a big success, getting over 15 million views on YouTube since I made it back in November of 2018. So it's a 3-year-old video, but it's still going strong, getting 2.4 million views in 2021. The name of the video is Every One of My Model Trains Appears in This Video. And I give my wife, Kellen, full credit for this video. It was her idea. Like I said, this was back in 2018. At that point, we were living at our little house in California, and I had made so many model train videos in that house. I mentioned to my wife that I needed a good idea of something different to do for this video so that it wouldn't just be a repeat of things I had done in previous videos. She suggested that I temporarily remove the table from our dining room, which would open up a big space that I could fill with trains. It was a fantastic idea that led to a memorable and successful video. In fact, it was especially successful as far as advertising revenue. This video was actually my #1 moneymaker in 2021. I earned more ad revenue from this video in 2021 than I did from the Thomas & Friends video, which got more than 4 times as many views, and it also earned more than that video about the announcement from the airplane pilot. Remember, the name of this video is Every One of My Model Trains Appears in This Video. And when I made this video back in 2018, I only owned 12 locomotives. And now, as 2022 gets underway, I own 25. So I think a new version of this video is definitely in order for the new year. At number 4 in my countdown of the 5 most watched videos on my YouTube channel in 2021 is a video I call Big Model Trains Cover the Floor of This House. And I made this video back in June of 2018 as a direct result of a bad business decision that I had made earlier. Let me explain. Back in 2015, I made a video called Big Model Trains Running Inside My Small House. And that video went totally viral, getting millions of views in 2016 and 2017. By March of 2017, it had 17 million views. And at that point, a company contacted me and offered me a lot of money if I would sell them the rights to the video. Now, if I accepted their offer, I would get a big payout, but after that, they would own the video and any ad revenue from that point on would go to them. So, in considering this offer, I had to make a guess about whether that video, which had already gotten 17 million views, was going to keep getting a lot of views or not. And that is very hard to predict. So I figured the safe bet was to take the big payout and sell them the rights to the video. Bad decision, Jim. In the years since then, that video went on to get another 55 million views, which meant that if I had kept the rights to that video, I would have made somewhere around $55,000 or maybe more in ad revenue, far more than I got out of selling off the rights to that video. So that was a learning experience. I know now to always retain ownership of my videos, no matter how attractive the offer someone makes me. Now, it stung to see that video get so many views after I had sold off the rights to it, but I came up with a simple plan on a way to move forward. I would make an all-new video, very similar to the one I had sold off, but better. And that's how my video, Big Model Trains Cover the Floor of This House, came about in 2018. It got 1.9 million views this last year for a total of 16 million views since I made it, and I think it's a great lesson on how to recover from a bad business decision. Rounding out my top 5 most watched YouTube videos for 2021 is that video I made the very bad business decision about, big model trains running inside my small house, which I no longer own the advertising rights to. It got 1.8 million views in 2021, making it my 5th most watched video of the year, but I made $0 off of all those views. That stings a little, but at least the new and improved version of the video, which I do own the rights to, got even more views, coming in at number 4, while the video I sold away the rights to came in at number 5. So those were my top 5 most viewed videos for 2021. And an interesting thing about all 5 of those videos, and in fact my top 7 most viewed videos, was that not one of those videos was created in 2021. They were all videos I had made in years past, from 3 to 6 years ago. None of the 50 or so new videos that I created in 2021 really caught on big. Am I losing my touch? Of all the videos I made this last year, the one that did get the most views was the one I made in February when we had a big snowstorm here, and I tried to get my White Pass diesel locomotives to plow the snow off some tracks on my patio. That video got about 500,000 views in 2021, and by the way, I'm very proud of the clever title I came up with for that video, Snowvid-19. Well, I've noticed that a lot of my videos that have gone viral haven't done so right away. Sometimes it's quite a while after I first post them, before the YouTube algorithm sees something it likes in the way people are responding to the video and starts recommending the video to millions of people. So it's still too early to say that none of the videos I made in 2021 will become big hits. They just haven't done it yet. My model train collection expanded quite a bit in 2021. Now that I've settled into my new house here in Washington and all the big expenditures that go with a new house are behind me, I was able to buy 5 new locomotives in 2021. The BNSF diesel locomotive, the Bachmann steam train known as Glenbrook, Paxton and Diesel from Thomas & Friends, and I'm happy to introduce you to my newest acquisition, a very unusual item that you'll see running on a layout in a future video. It's a custom-made Oscar Mayer Wiener train. Also this last year, I acquired a very nice BNSF boxcar, an LGB flat car, and about $500 worth of additional track that I can use in making new layouts. And finally, before I wrap this up, I'm going to brag just a little bit here. My YouTube videos had a total of 31 million views in 2021. That's over 1 million hours of people watching my YouTube videos this year. Wow. And that puts me at over 343 million views since I posted my first YouTube video 13 years ago. The bad news is that the 31 million views I got in 2021 was actually a decrease of about 25% from the year previous. But the good news is that even though I got 25% less views than the year before, I actually made more money from advertising revenue in 2021 than I've ever made in any of the previous years. So that fits my definition of a successful year on YouTube. I gained an additional 42,000 subscribers in 2021 for a total of about 460,000 subscribers now. At that pace, somewhere towards the end of 2022, I think I may just pass the 500,000 subscriber mark. If you're one of my subscribers, I just want to thank you for the time you've spent watching my videos. And if you're not already a subscriber, but you do like my videos, you should subscribe so that you don't miss any of the new videos that I'll be making in 2022. Just click that red subscribe button, and then after you do that, don't miss the second step, which is to click the little bell icon next to it so that YouTube will let you know whenever I release a new video. Now, there's no money involved. Subscribing is free. It's just the way that you teach YouTube to learn what kind of videos you like and to make sure that they recommend my future videos to you whenever a new one comes out. Well, thank you for being a part of a successful 2021 for me here on YouTube. And in 2022, you can pretty much expect more of the same mix of model train videos, travel videos, especially cruise ships, and the occasional video about Carly, my Cocker Spaniel puppy. I'm Jim Zim. Thanks for watching.